Get the keyboard and mouse, I'll play around with it. If I can get it in.
Yeah, if you can get it rolling, it's good. Okay, everybody's got a little bit of, we're cozy now, we're recording, so at least we have voice going out. And I'm gonna start sharing things so people see the. Okay, give me a break here. Sure. Hold, please.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't turn on PC.
going through now, but I want this one to come through. I'm not seeing the one I want you to see.
That's what, this is great.
I hope I didn't just shut the meeting up.
You take that and listen.
No, I didn't do that.
Your body's not too, so you got a question, don't answer.
Okay, one more try. No, I'm not used to sharing, it's my phone.
But you want to share it,
What are you
If something like.
trying to do?
I'm not sure if the agenda to start with. I get too many windows open, it's a problem.
So which one are you trying to share, Phil? I see the,
Stop sharing, I'm sharing something. There's the button, and the share button is where? Share, okay.
Should have a list of documents over here you can choose from down here.
That's where I was a few minutes ago. Said one.
Agenda open.
I thought I did. That'd be it. Now do we have an agenda, folks?
Here you go.
Okay, let's go through some, let's start by opening a meeting. It's being recorded. Well, at least we're doing the voice is being recorded. First, I'd like to see if there's a motion to approve the minutes from last week's meeting. So second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mark. Okay, I think what we're gonna do, I think is, has Mike Petrovic joined in? Mike, are you in there? He may or may not be. Okay, if he pops in, he'll let us know. Okay, the next thing we're gonna share, we're gonna look at two pieces. I'm gonna take a look at the financial impact for the payers review. This is what Jody prepared for us. And I'm gonna open up a bunch of windows here again. And that'll be this one. And go back to the top. And we'll make this a little larger. Can everybody see this, or do we need me to go full screen? Okay. This is the final packet that Jody put together and shipped off to us today. There's no surprises in it. The 500,000 is still at 1.49 and change. That scales. I think there's different gradients here. 100,000 to 1 million. So we can continue to think about using this piece or use the three that we have today. The other piece we need to take a look at is the bar chart, and Mike. Sure. Yeah. How did I do that? Yep.
Yeah. Icon down there.
Yep, I got it. Slideshow. Thank you. There we go. Here's a larger picture of it. Here's the slide where Jody put together the debt roll off and how this goes up and down. And maybe Mike Goddard, you want to pitch this for us? For this meeting, because I'm not fully familiar with the way the numbers roll.
We're gonna see an increase initially, but she structured it such that we see a rapid fall off, which then speaks to the possibility to take on additional debt back below our level debt.
The straight line, yeah.
Fine, but it stays decrease, and that's basically the picture that sort of kind of demonstrates is debt capacity and so on forward. One thing I would say is that.
Hey, quick question. And are you running this off, Phil? Are you just running this off of your laptop?
Yeah, I just switched it, Lonnie.
Oh, okay.
Shut the laptop sound, which you find and said recording here to you.
Or maybe just mute yours, Phil.
Yeah, so everybody moves theirs. I'll put this mic on.
Am I muted?
Not yet.
Someone's on.
All set. I muted you, Phil.
Mic on.
Thank you, Lonnie.
And camera. You want to put your volume on too?
How's this?
So I mean, all this is.
Phil, you keep unmuting yourself. You gotta unmute the one that's the computer, the. Hold on. Hold on 1 sec. I'll just remote it and do it. 1 sec.
Turn your mic on. Yeah. Why don't you log out there? Yeah, stay recording.
Okay.
Because you're in Teams.
You're gonna lose,
Huh? I did.
It's the output from your speakers going back to that mic.
No. Oh, what happened now? Damn technology. I lived in this world for 50-some years. God.
All right, we're all set now.
You got his other one out?
Yep. Yeah, hold on.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Sometimes I have to.
Perfect.
Okay.
We're good.
If you can pick up that floppy. Oh, you've got it. I'm sorry.
So. Share.
In your shared device. Browse.
would ask Jay for some bullet points on our slide division. So I'm just gonna interpret what I see.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. So we're gonna need that.
All right, hold on. Is it this? Hold on 1 sec. Is this
It's in
the
the
same?
file.
Is this stuff is this the stuff you emailed us? What, this one here?
Yeah.
Yes, perfect.
There.
This?
Yeah, that's it.
That's not it. It's just the agenda.
That's just it.
So we're done. Now we're gonna go to Jody's piece, which I have.
That's a site, so close that line. That's just me getting in there. So get rid of
Lonnie, he
that.
did send the slides to us if you can pull
He
up.
put a drive in here. You logged in here, Lonnie?
Yeah, hold on. Just hold on 1 sec.
I won't touch the mouse. There's a USB drive in there. It's in there.
There's a USB drive in the computer?
So. There you go. Which one is it?
It would be the slides for town hall. The one page,
You get to the top.
we were looking at it, the expansion final recommendations. PDF.
Fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Either one of them. PDF version's the same as the PowerPoint. So it might be easier to go the other, one above it.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
It's kind of scary how you can do that from your desk. Be careful of looking at it, work.
Okay, here we go again.
Hold on, I opened the PDF.
There we go. Okay, so we were talking about the level of debt. Now, I guess I will talk to Jody and try to get some bullet points on this.
I don't know that that's being shared with the recording. It's not showing up on my screen.
Are you sharing that with the recording?
With the
Oh,
Teams.
no, hold on one second.
Okay, thank you.
And are you recording, Lonnie? Probably should restart that too.
I think
It
it's-
is recording, yep.
There it goes.
It doesn't stop recording.
Okay, good. Okay.
That's interesting. Why it's so blurry.
I'm colorblind. I had troubles with that chart before.
Not
Hold
really
on,
blurry.
hold on one second, guys. Hold on. You're trying to do this through the web page and stuff. It's not, doesn't work right. Give me one second. It's the same stuff you emailed earlier today, right?
Same stuff I emailed you. Yep,
It's that.
you got all
I
these.
think this chart though, gotta look at, because a lot of the words we've been using could be challenged with this chart's being laid out.
I'm not so sure this chart is the one we use.
Oh, okay.
I mean, because I had the same problem. I was getting confused.
Well, I mean, I think it does what, basically, she's managing the debt load so that we get to level debt sooner than later, after 4 or 5 years, right?
Yeah.
But what that doesn't demonstrate is this idea of we've left capacity for other projects. A lot of people may jump up and say, well,
Where's
you
my-
get back down to the line, how do I add anything if you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's the management of, that line is arbitrary. If we take more debt on, that's fine, but the way it's structured, it can also be restructured going forward. Because I think she's probably using short-term
No, the
notes.
showing it dropping off. I didn't see.
Yeah, it does. Well, it shows going up for like 4 years, and back in 31, you see it back down when the next major drop off is.
Gotcha.
But what it doesn't demonstrate, if you're looking at it, saying, well, how can you add more debt if you're trying to stay at that red line? And I think what it is, it's a case of she's mitigating the impact. So if she didn't do anything, those first 5 years are going to be that much higher. But what she's doing, she's not necessarily making it as small as it could be. Like we saw a slide where it's like $49 or something like that when she first, and she brought it up because that's what I think, I interpret that's what she means by leaving room for additional projects.
I agree.
You know?
But this chart got me confused.
Is that better?
But I mean, the green, it says MURSD. Is that a?
We just need this bigger. We can't really.
Yeah, can you make it large, Lonnie?
It's like
I'm sorry.
2026.
You know what, share on there, but then give it to our screen, so at least it's shared to whoever's looking at online, but we can see the regular version that you had up. Where it was clear, or only we can see it.
Yeah, I know what the intent was, is that we drop off quicker.
Yeah.
It's the yellows or the oranges in there that I'm having trouble figuring out.
Are these the slides that are anticipated for use Friday?
I think we're deciding whether or not.
Yeah, we're kind of looking at this one, whether we use it or not, because that raises a lot of questions.
I think that's gonna raise a lot of questions.
When you said
And
that,
people don't understand it.
Yeah, there was something there that I didn't know what it was. So I guess I have questions for Jody.
So
about-
Yeah,
is
it's
everybody who's joined the meeting besides, I guess, maybe Mike, maybe you sent these slides
To
to
the-
all of us, right? So Lonnie and Mark can look at it locally.
Right,
We could look at it here collectively without necessarily sharing it through teams, you know what I mean?
yeah, we could do that as well.
I have copies so I can see everything you're seeing.
So it's like somebody uninstalled Teams from this computer.
Yeah, I didn't see it anywhere in there. When I loaded it up, it wanted me to install it. Phil signed in, he's never signed in here before, do you have to install for every person? Something.
Well, there's Teams, no, it should auto install.
Well, I was doing something like that and came up while we
Yeah,
started.
the screen froze for like 15 minutes.
So naturally, you're going to shut. So what was it about the MURSD, Elena, that,
That's Mendon Upton Regional School System, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I guess it was a green bar that showed up like in 2026.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if it was intended to like be a placeholder for
Oh, okay.
capital projects for MURSD. So like, that's what I don't know. Like, is that what, because I don't know.
yeah, we shouldn't be showing potential projects, right?
Yeah.
Right, so like, that's, like, I don't know if that was the intention, but I guess that was my question.
Get the chart up, I can call Jody.
Maybe we do that, but yeah, I'm still concerned. It raises a whole host of questions. And I understand what we're trying to do with the drop off.
Yeah.
And absorb and get back to a point of extra money in 2030, 31. But I'm getting confused by the others.
What is it, what were you expecting to see?
I guess I was expecting to see a drop off and some room building up.
But
And I think I've got more than it's one of those cases of more data than I need, maybe. You're starting to cook here, Lonnie.
Looks good, Lonnie. All right, so
Chart, there we go.
It's
It's
not.
not there.
that's okay.
Yeah,
we're
okay, all
here.
right, yeah. I mean, if
It's
not-
public
if not
records, they can
there,
request it.
share, yeah.
They can
Hold on,
request.
I get it.
So that's all right, Tanya.
He's not gonna give up.
We
You know,
got,
Lonnie,
and we got Mike Petrovich, who's got a short window. He's got already to go, so we might not be able.
Got
to.
it.
For this
Can
purpose.
you scroll down
Just so we can see
the
the-
legend?
Yeah,
Got it. There you go.
a little bit more, a little bit more. Right there. Okay, that's it.
Good, that's exactly what we need.
So BBT.
So that green bar shows up in a couple of years.
So the school's still there. What does the school have on this?
I wouldn't show BBT if we're taking this through the assessment. That's their operate, you know what I mean?
Right, well,
Do you have anything else with BBT?
Not that I'm aware of.
I don't think so.
Can I ask what we're trying to do by showing this graph? What are we actually trying to do? My goal was, because in my opinion, it's overcomplicating what we're
Yeah,
trying to do.
I agree.
she should only have one bar for senior center. I don't think, yeah, she's going into the details of how she's financing. There should just be one senior center payment.
They have a million questions on that.
So I think this, whatever color that is, that BBT, that shouldn't be on there. I don't
We
think.
have Mendon Upton Regional on there.
But if you look at this, the current debt payments, this is really the drop off that you expect to see. If you watch the gray bars
Right.
drop here, right? And
Yeah.
then everything has senior center. Yeah, there should be one senior center bar for simplicity's sake.
And-
this is probably useful for her in terms of figuring out how it's structured, but not.
But you still have, if you take BBT out, then you have some capacity out here below the level debt, right?
If you take Mendon Upton Regional out, which is
Right.
the green,
Yep.
I believe one of the screens talked about some assumptions. I don't know if it was below this or on the next slide.
If the green is intended to show potential capacity, that's cool.
Yeah,
But-
I think illustration,
action by future borrowings relies heavily upon that. No, that doesn't really reflect it.
Hey, we're looking at your chart and the committee in the green. And your, for the school, is that current debt or is that future debt? You just broke up. Is it me? Hello? Hello?
It's Dave again.
In all seriousness, I think this is the only slide we need.
I think you might be right, because I'm getting confused on everything else.
I just don't, it's just, if you leave some of it out, right, then it's like, oh, why didn't you tell us that? But if we leave it all in, it's just too much to even,
With
Like
this.
this is what people want to know. What's it gonna cost me based upon my house value?
Right.
And this is annual, right?
I think
So-
if we're gonna use that slice wall, just use that.
One slide.
Yeah,
That one should
we
be
don't want
fine,
any placeholders.
I think.
And can I?
Is it actually intended as a 30-year or a 20-year?
It's a 30-year.
Not overcomplicated.
Is it 30?
That's right, don't overcomplicate things.
Yeah, no, so BBT, they're gonna try to take operational, so that gone. And then the green, if it's just placeholder, that gone too. Because we don't want to dedicate it towards anything specific. Start competing for that money. You know, what they're
We want to
gonna-
demonstrate capacity.
We just want to say that's our capacity.
You want to see that.
That's right, they want to- they don't want to see fires.
Yeah, the other stuff is gonna, like, it-
I believe people want to see that. And anything else, they're gonna be, they want a good explanation on why we need it, why we can't build that one.
Yeah.
That other graft,
If it's not there, we don't want to.
set fire to it.
I think
it's gone.
To ask
You know,
about
the chart is to show that there's room.
what we protected,
established.
that we could say like, you know,
From the
we're
projects
happy to
they
like talk to you through about how the debt is structured. Because I know some people heard the 300 plus estimate and now we've got the 150. And so some of them are saying like, how did that happen? It's like, well, the total project has not changed in cost. It's just how the debt is distributed across time.
Yeah, so basically it's the same chart with the line.
So like, I mean, I think
That
we can
shows open debt
explain
space.
that for people who have that question.
right, well,
But
showing that-
If you hold it right there for a minute, so basically I'm looking at the chart, there's gray there.
Yeah, and I
Is
think-
the gray, the police station. I don't see the police station on here, is that?
I think it's everything we have.
All right, so, well, it's current debt, so is it gray, all the debt that we refinanced when we did the police station? She's pulling it up right now.
And just confirm if BBT is going to be assessed.
just shoot the numbers, people are gonna ask, what debt is
That's
coming
not
off?
debt for us, this is operating.
That's right, police station.
Pay is, keep it simple.
Yeah.
Where you getting this money from?
Okay, so gray is current
Debt's
debt.
coming
which-
off.
Gray is current
Yeah.
debt, which
Hold on,
includes the
keep it
police
simple.
station.
Don't know.
Then
What made it drop? Police station?
Does anyone know what that abbreviation
no, we don't need to know
BAN
any, I
means?
want it simplified, it's easy.
Consolidate.
Yeah.
One bar for senior center. One bar for senior center, one bar for, so gray is current debt, and then really you just gotta combine the senior center debt, and then everything else is extra.
Dave's
capacity
talking to
debt among
Jody right
everyone.
now.
Right, no, it's good.
Okay, all right, sounds good.
So that will show
All right.
what we've been saying.
Okay, we'll talk to you later.
Right? You're going to see these top two colors gone, right? BBT and MURSD is gone, right? These are-
So basically, you're gonna follow this line, the blue line. You're gonna follow the blue line,
Right.
it's gonna drop below, and then it's gonna drop in.
So then you can
Below our
speak
debt,
to the
yeah.
capacity based on structure.
That's what the original one looks like.
So if people want fields, people want a fire station, you're demonstrating a structure that's going to allow some debt to be taken on in here. So senior center is not taking all the money.
Yeah.
Basically. It takes all the money for a couple of years. But that's the reason.
The school dropped off, and it sounds like what she did is just kept that same amount for the school there as like a placeholder, because it dropped off, but.
Yeah, take it out.
Yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
You want to see the gap here.
Yep.
And I think if it's one color for senior center, then, I mean, it is simple. And you start to see the opportunity for the people who want fields saying, okay, you're not taking all the money. You're not taking all the money for schools. But it's structured from capital planning standpoint to be able to take debt on and still try to maintain. This red line, this is what you pay today, folks. That's your tax bill. If we stay under that or at that tax bill, you're gonna have no impact. So we're trying to minimize how we go over and how quickly we get back.
And then actually 32, you're gonna go under again.
Right.
So that you're gonna pay that 100, so the 500, you're gonna pay $150 more, or
31 is a big
$500,000 for that many years, and then you drop below it again. And that's room for another project to go in.
So if people want the fire station, I mean, I've heard that and seen that, and we have it on the plan, but it's also an idea. So to your point, Chief, you said
Years out.
it's gonna be like, okay, we can start planning now, but we're not gonna need to execute on a fire station until where we have more debt available. So that's the whole structuring
And
idea.
when we did capital before, we wanted to say that buildings should last 25 to 50 years. We put a fire station in 2008, and I know it was another building, but it's not like, it wasn't a patch building like we did for the senior center and the police station. It was a building we bought, we invested money in, and then we bonded to actually build into a fire station. So we did a municipal building. We should try to get our 25 years out of any building we do before we sell again the next one, and making sure we paid off our current debt on it. So I mean, and you need the planning stage, you need the analysis, you need the capital plan, and then it's like the senior center, you're gonna be 6 years out. So if you go 6 years out from today, we're in 2024, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Pretty good.
that's dropping off in this room.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing too is if Phillipsburg fields come up, that's not necessarily debt. That could be CPA funds. So there's a lot of there are other funding sources that don't necessarily impact this picture, that don't impact what people want.
Oh, yeah, the field, yeah, the fields are.
But I think, I would say the previous slide, and this slide would be important just to show the growing, the capacity it's available. Just for those people that raise their hand and say, I want my pet project. I want fields. You can't.
I think
And the fields might not even touch this. The fields might be CPA.
Right.
No, it's CPA.
Fields being talked about,
That's CPA.
we partially, unless we want turf, right?
Yeah.
So you got fields, you've got, I see fire department, libraries out there looking, so they're all gonna get in queue.
And then we gotta be realistic too. We have a deadline here from 2021 to 2054. You can't keep the same deadline. That deadline's gonna
And it's
eventually have to be
arbitrary.
adjusted.
That's just sort of managing debt.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean we can't agree to push
Function.
this red line up.
But
and
eventually,
manage to that new
that's
threshold.
gonna be adjusted. It's almost like once you have a capital committee plan in place for a long term,
Yeah.
you start adjusting that on a regular basis and say with inflation and everything going on, $1 million today is,
I think-
1.5.
I think, Mike, to the point of having this chart that shows it dropping off, I think we'll use words around the first one. Say it drops off, it starts to drop off below a level debt line in 31. 31. And if somebody really wants to drill down, we could have a backup just with gray.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with having slides like that in an appendix that you
Yeah.
can jump to if the question comes up, right?
Yeah.
You can speak to the fact, they want to say, show me that you're not using all the debt, Mr. Sipley.
We can do that. I think this one got me crazy because I was getting confused with all the other things I didn't know about.
Yeah, no, and that's,
Okay.
I mean, I understand why it was done that way, but that's a little more than,
It's too much.
Actually,
I think if we can get just the blue line, whatever the line is,
a single color for the senior center would be helpful.
single color, you show a drop below the line, and that's a backup of piece that we have. In case somebody asked.
Question.
Sure.
What does the acronym BAN mean?
DVT?
BAN
I
in
think it's a
the,
type
in the
of law.
descriptions,
Oh, yeah,
you know?
She
I know
talked
what it
about
is.
different types of loans.
Principal.
Yeah, it's a type of borrowing. You got the principal over there. You've
What's
got
the
like,
type of
BAN
loan?
interest,
yeah, so you got,
Is that it?
Yeah.
this, Tom, you got senior center bond,
So the
principal,
town
is a
just
separate color.
authorizes you to spend the money.
Interest versus interest.
Proper
Types of loans.
Whoever your financial advisor manages,
Right.
whether it's temporary bonds, long bonds, it's constantly play with. Like when we did the police station, rates were so low that we just took all of our debt in the town. That's why it's all great. We took it all and refinanced every bit of it and put it to one lump sum
Yeah, and that's prudent then.
because it was, the rates were so stinking low.
Right now, we're gonna do short term based on the fluctuation of rate base. Okay, I think if we go back to the chart, Lonnie, if you go back to the numbers chart, to your point, what it means for each person, if you're still there.
Don't sleep. Lonnie, wake up.
I think, Phil, the other thing this
Zone
chart
three.
shows, this sort of shows
I can-
active
where we
management
going?
for finances.
Oh, you're driving.
Was it up or down? Well, I can't.
You can go down,
Back up, right? This question.
back up, yeah, back up. That one. That goes in this presentation deck. If we get a clean bar line that shows drop off, which is easy to talk to, because we can talk to this and say, this is the impact. We're managing debt, as we have been in our meetings. We're managing debt, so it begins to drop off. We've left room so that in 4 to 5 years, there's additional capacity on the level debt spending.
And then maybe point out that that's an arbitrary line that has been established, but I mean, eventually that's gonna have to be adjusted like anything else.
It's gonna have to go up.
So,
It could go up or down, Dave.
let's be realistic, nothing's gonna go down.
Okay, let's,
I don't wanna lie to them.
since you can drive over there, can you pull up another file?
Sure.
And then grab the town meeting slide, R2 PDF.
This one,
That's the easiest one to load. Oh, not,
not PowerPoint.
that's okay. If it's loaded, it's fine.
No, you don't have PowerPoint in here.
Hold on, sorry, I'm back.
I get bored sometime, Lonnie, but I can't leave the meeting room.
This one here?
Yep.
Yeah, hold on.
Okay. One slide so far with a backup out of the finance numbers.
So you want to be back here?
No, we're done with that.
We're done with that
All
one.
right.
Go back to this one. To the top?
Yep.
Okay, that sits up there until we get up to the mic and we go down to the next one.
Boom.
Boom. Review current status of the project, the need. Narrative, Dave, you and I can just do a little quick need. Some of the high points. The ask, what are we really asking the people? Hit them up front right away. I think somebody said that before. Even though we're going to come back to it again. The committee asked the townspeople to support a 13.2 project. Taxpayer impact. We can do a bigger scale. Then we're going to go into the design, history, and process, benefits. Design, history, and processes, we're going to turn it to Mike Petrovic. And then we'll go to benefits. We'll come back to us. And then, and then the final support groups. We'll just say who's supporting this thing. The next slide would be Mike's slides. And I'm not sure you're on, Mike. I saw you there, but I know you had a 6:30 meeting you had to run to. But let's go to the next one. We can kind of walk through his. That's a quick statement of the three companies that were involved and their history and what they do, and that they've been in business. They're not jokes. Next slide. Our firm. He talks about his firm specifically. His experience in senior centers, municipal buildings, all kind of good stuff. Again, quick slides, but they're there to give him credibility. Feasibility study. The next slide he has here, conducted. This is he's going to get to length on how we went through the project possibilities, project practicality, financial viability. So he's going to go through that on how they go through their study process. I think that's good words to be heard. Research involved, site selection, since we went to 4 down to 1. Characteristics of selected sites. You and I may jump in there because he may not have all the data, but I think we'll be dynamic in our flow.
Well, we're gonna get a question about because it keeps coming up on Facebook about the current scene center. Why don't we just renovate it? But we gotta really explain it's not a renovation. To make it the building we need to make too, we're gonna strip it down to studs. It's gonna basically be a shell. There's no savings there. Strip it down, then you're building the same thing. And in essence, it could actually, like Mike said before, cost more
Well, the back end,
because you have to work around it now.
yeah, the back end, you tear it off and you got to cut the concrete to make it shorter, to make it flat.
And then everything's being gutted.
Yeah.
And then it's gonna be re-sided anyways to match the whole type building. So you're saving studs and plywood.
I didn't even think you had the space for parking.
You don't,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to do modified parking
Right way.
that isn't safe. It's gonna be public safety standards. You're not gonna be able to get fire apparatus in there the way that we had to do it.
And that would speak just to the traffic study too on that one. Those are
Yeah,
very
traffic.
numbers.
You have double the amount of traffic that goes through that site, including a lot of trucks.
At high speeds.
High-speed trucks, and it drops down at the site because the trucks are going left or right on 16th. I think that's where you lose a lot of that traffic with the traffic study. It's all the trucks. They're not going up on that.
And then he talks about building site design. He'll get into his technical aspect. He's talking about at the end of the line, it's informed decisions. We haven't made this lightly. Okay, next slide. He goes back through a chronology and these numbers are close. 2018 was the original study with that crew, I think. 2014 is when we went out for a survey under Kevin Ridden. And then we had the original cost study, which was, he was involved with that as well, Mike. 2021, he did a pro bono where he just said, I'll just give you the downside shrink. Here it is. No cost. If you ever need me in the future, think of me. And then we went in earnest in 23 to 24, where we're at now, with a detailed analysis. Study completed, analysis completed, update reflects current future needs, and then a cost analysis. Then he flips over to the next page. Location of the site. North Ave and 16. I think it's important we show we're in relationship to Clough, 2 main roads. Pickleball courts are behind the building because we're getting concerns that it'd be too close to the homes up there and it'd be too noisy. Didn't realize that. Next slide.
Is that on the same agenda? The pickleboard,
It's on the annual meeting with CPA.
that's the CPA one. That's another
Yeah,
item,
well,
right?
yeah, we'll have to stop at that one and say,
The recreational aspects of this is on the
Yes, that's
CPA
what it
funding. And the
So
benefit,
real quick, so this seems to have changed a bit. Like this is now in the middle of the field, when originally it was set to be here, right?
No, it's in the left line behind all the houses.
same places behind the houses.
See the houses? We
No,
used
but
to-
it's taking up the entire field now.
No. That's still only,
No, that's just, what do you mean? That's just the fields to the right. So that parking lot's not gonna be there. That little one, that's actually should have been taken out. It's a road that goes to the left, so the field is where that little parking lot is and over.
Okay.
you know where the brick wall is, stone wall? Right
Yeah, no,
behind that.
I know. I used to live right here, so I get it. I'm just saying,
There's old trees there right now where that building is. There's old trees and woods.
there's no trees here.
No, it's clear.
This is
Right
the
behind the
field.
houses where the stone walls are.
It's clear. It's field.
This is the stone wall here. This is
Yeah.
this, or right in this general area is where now the stone wall's right here. There's some trees here, but yeah, no, this is right up. I thought it was coming in and just tucking in down here. This is on top of this.
We can't see your arrow. We don't know what you're talking
You
about.
can't see you're down here. He originally had a slide showing it right up by the road line, but it didn't fit.
No, look, I get that. You're missing the point. This was originally, this is way bigger. I don't know if you can't see me moving the cursor right now. Oh, there you
Now
go.
you see that.
So this is way bigger than what was originally discussed. We had a road coming straight in with a turn, and then the building was here.
It's actually,
This,
it's smaller than what we showed. We cut the other road off and then he just didn't cut up that parking lot yet. That's actually smaller.
this is cutting, this road here is cutting in over, the stone wall is gonna be taken out. The opening in the stone wall is right about here.
Yeah.
So this is totally, I'm just telling you, this is different than what we originally discussed.
I don't,
But maybe it's because I missed a meeting or two.
I don't know. I don't think so, Lonnie. I mean, go to the other slide, the other picture. Wrong one.
I mean, it's taken up what, 2 acres? How much? 2.5 acres.
I did wonder, it's like, is it 2.5 within the parking lot and it's not counting the sort of like,
Conservation.
it's spaced around the, like it's not it's not a rectangle. So like, if, is the 2.5 acres, is that just the parking lot? And
So
then it's
all I'm saying is that this being the stone wall right here, right? The original driveway came in through the stone wall. And this is the entire field is all I'm saying. After this stone wall, this was the 200-foot setback, right? We're not using that.
The stone wall, Lonnie, I thought was right where the top line is. You go across where the top line.
I don't believe so. I believe it's right here. Because this is the entrance in over here.
Okay,
So I
Could be.
believe the stone wall flows up this way. And then, now granted, there's trees and stuff in here right now that people probably think it's their land, but isn't necessarily. We're going to be, if we're cutting, I mean, if we're gonna leave it, it's fine, but I mean, you're really cutting up close here. Again, I apologize. It could be just in my head. I didn't realize it was this big. But that one building that we're doing here is taking up the entire space. Nothing else can be done here. I mean, very little can be added here.
no, the add-on, if you
Well,
built,
it's
built on
20 acres.
What?
There's 20 acres there.
22 acres. Down the hill is where
It
you,
is 20 acres, but not all of it is field.
Right.
It's that, the wooded area downhill.
and Buddy Brooks down.
So this is out. This is out. This is all conservation here, right?
No,
It's
No,
not-
only
the
got 200
conservation
feet.
is the strip along the.
only the strip along Route 16 is conservation.
It's 20 acres and we're taking up 2.5. It's
Hold on.
16 to 17 acres still sitting there.
The
Okay,
conservation strip goes down North Ave, I'm sorry, not down Route 16, and then cuts up Muddy Brook and encompasses the whole thing.
okay.
Not that I was aware.
I don't think so.
Not what I've seen on the
Hmm.
maps.
So Lonnie, are you saying Muddy Brook it goes up the edge of that picture that I'm looking at?
Right.
I
Right.
The
thought-
Muddy Brook is,
Yeah.
Muddy Brook is right around this general area, maybe a little bit further down. It's just past, see where it starts to clear right here?
Yeah,
So the 200 feet runs down here. And maybe this is usable right here, but just past this area is conservation, all the way up to the back.
Can we check them? I never looked at the other 22 acres, so I don't know.
Let me see what I have, hold on.
I could do that.
It's actually this,
Okay.
that's different. So that would be right.
Oh,
That's
that
across
was,
the street.
it might be this.
yeah, bigger than that. This has changed
Okay.
dramatically.
That's the area I walk. I mean, with the trucks, they're digging holes.
Look, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, there's just where. In my head, I'm sorry, it was just bigger than, and I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, don't get me wrong. I'm all for this. There's just, it looks just bigger than what I
Oh, okay.
originally had.
Yeah,
Yep.
this map, from the assessor.
Well, remember the original
Right.
one
The
had
shape
parking up
of the-
here too.
Yeah, and Muddy Brook's way back
Which
here.
would've been
Right,
like
and so there's
usable for
this strip
club.
of conservation. I mean,
Oh, and
this
yeah,
might
see
be
this
one-
one, we.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
this is
started
Elena
like-
has the map up, and Lonnie, it goes way back, that's not.
Hold on one
not
second.
Line on it. If you go
Yeah,
to,
the-
this is Mass
Yeah,
GIS.
it's from the assessor's page on
If
the.
you go to Mass GIS, it's all outlined with conservation, Muddy Brook, the districts. There's a lot more land there, probably
Yeah,
4 times as much.
Oh, okay, okay.
You're pulling up the map, Lonnie?
So like, yeah, it's
Yeah.
kind of pulling in.
Thanks.
That's what we're gonna take this here.
Well,
There's somebody out there.
Where's
Hey,
Pete?
this is good practice for Friday, folks.
You said, find the field right here.
These are the
with all
Three
different
times as
sites.
much than build.
Which way?
Build.
And the storage building, they're building it
Oh,
down
yeah.
here.
You're gonna go down a meeting, so.
At 16.
I'll just ask a question for you.
I need magnifying glasses.
Of the parking is
16 and
opposed to,
that-
like, the
Yeah,
children.
It's going like here, so it's there, and that's, think of how small that road is compared to what that is.
'Cause this
It's a
piece of-
smaller road and it's there. You got all of this.
I know.
This piece of land is where the.
Mhm.
But we can also do a field down
Back
Mhm.
here.
So we're utilizing, okay, so I see what you're saying, so this, you could utilize some of this for
Yeah, that's-
future.
Yes.
It's wet, it's wet in there, but you could, so here, so essentially we're coming in and then taking up this whole
They call it
path.
area.
pavement.
And even if you lay it on top of that one, you're probably below that
If you look at the, where the
orange line.
What's that?
If you lay them on top of each other, you,
So my assumption was always we had
come on.
kinda.
You're in this area right here, this circle I'm making. Yep, okay, cool.
Are we
make
all right?
sense now? And again, it's conceptual learning, so as we go, they're gonna be designing it once they actually have engineers and.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I think we've got room there. I always,
Well, you got-
not for this only, but for.
But I mean, it's a visual representation. I don't think it's gonna be accurate to exactly where it's gonna be with lines and surveying and, I mean, who's to say it's not gonna tuck over more? Or-
Yeah, I'm good, I'm good, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take so much time on it, I'm good, thank you.
No, that's okay. Now, Lonnie, is there enough room there in case that question comes up?
No, I'm just kidding, yeah, no, there's plenty of room.
Okay, I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay,
We were gonna build a police station, fire station, municipal complex there, and we were taking up more space in here, and we still thought there was plenty of room
do something
to
else.
do something else for municipal buildings.
Okay, next slide. You can see this one. I don't know if we're gonna do two of them. I think we're gonna drop one of these. It's nice to see that, but it doesn't. Next slide. I think we're dropping that one. Floor plan, that's a quick talk through. Square footage is a quick talk through. You know, that shows you upper and lower, it tells you that you're 11,678. And then the next one gives you a side view of the building from front, back, and side. Then you get into renditions, which go quick. Then you see the beauty of the building. Then you see the back of the building, the beauty of the building. I modified my slides, and then you see the numbers. To the 13,117,747. Somebody will probably put a motion in to make the funds to equal that number instead of 13,2, but we'll have to wait and see.
But I've had a question asked me, is there any electric charging there for cars?
Yes,
And who's gonna pay for it? Is the town paying for it? It's gonna be on a credit card?
That's up for the town to decide, just like over here, it's up for them to decide. It's up for the board to decide.
Okay.
Have we decided on that? Have you guys
You'll see
decided?
people
this one yet?
pulling in there, plug their cars in, walk home and charging their cars free.
good point.
Yeah, well, I guess it depends too, because I think part of what Ann with the CPC.
I guess no problem with the
if
electric
they
charge, but I don't
and
need
they
to pay.
invest so much into it with the state, you have to do it free for a certain amount of time, because they're giving you all the infrastructure. So,
I just don't wanna pay.
there was something a while ago about that, but I don't know how it is now.
Our
You're paying
plan
for
is-
yourself.
Our plan is to have the capability. If the town wants to weigh in and say it's not good because it's not chargeable, it doesn't make sense, we'll not plug it in, not turn it on.
Don't we get payment from some of the chargers? Like I thought I'd seen something come in. Have you seen that, Mike?
There was something before on how it was funded.
Well, there was like, I think there are some credits, but anyhow, I'm not sure.
To encourage.
I don't know how it works, but I just don't wanna pay for somebody
Somebody-
every night, plug their car in and go home and.
That's not a bad idea. We put one of those in, I'll have to go buy an electric car. so I
That's
can
what
park
people
them.
will. People live in the neighborhood, they will.
Good question though, John. I mean,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the town needs a position on how they're gonna use their
I
electric
think people
charging.
are gonna ask that
stations.
question too.
That's a bigger scale thing though, as we have more.
I know, but it's
buildings.
just the questions that they're gonna ask. I agree.
I agree. That's a good point.
What are the, out of curiosity, what is the rule here for the one that we
I
had?
don't know what it is here.
One here?
Yeah.
That was supposed to be, when we approved this lot, it's gonna be on a credit card. Town was not gonna pay to use the charger.
The way it stands now.
I don't know what they did.
Can anyone go up and use that?
We'll trip out for a meeting.
I saw somebody using
Pull
it
my
last
car
week.
over there, and we'll see if it works.
Did you? Yeah, when we were leaving the meeting last week, I saw somebody, little car pulling in. Really?
I was just wondering.
We actually should look at the photos.
We went through that whole thing when they
I
put
think
these
Mike
charges
mentioned
in.
mounted
We didn't want
solar.
people coming in and
around
charging
here.
their car random.
We can generate a megawatt in that space. We actually could get payment back based on, the federal
But we
side.
shouldn't, like John said, there should be no chargers in this town that are free. Nobody gets free gas.
I agree.
I would agree. But the town needs to make a decision on how they're
Yeah,
gonna do that.
that's not to this committee or this board.
We'll have the capabilities, and the capability was planned, but we don't have to turn the switch on it until the town makes a decision.
That's right, but people will ask about that.
That's a broader scale.
And the select board, you can take that as an item up. for future
Let's
meetings.
say that that's a decision that'll be made in the future by the sitting board of select boards.
It's still fairly new.
That won't be me.
Still fairly new. We're still building infrastructure for it.
After that one, we're just gonna go back to I'd like to close out on the benefits again. We talked about up front. Maybe we need to move this slot higher in the deck. But I wanted to get Mike through it and let him do his engineering. Here's how we got here, along with he knows all D&L's information, so he'll be able to support both the plot and the building. Then I wanted to come back to this number again and say, folks, it's more than just a senior center, it's a community center. Let's remember, it does it's the emergency shelters, food pantry, host of benefits that every individual in the town can use, not just the seniors. And on the other side, we can run effective programs for the seniors as well. And by the way, it can be simultaneously. And it can be more than one. And we don't have to reconfigure it every 3 times a day,
4 times today.
4 times a day. We're going for,
We had exercise, we had
And we just.
music bingo, we had lunch, we had a photography class this afternoon.
Yeah.
I was just downstairs.
It started out as a senior center, pretty much committee, in 2018, but once everybody got together from the community, realized that this is more than a senior center that we currently have. We don't have just a senior center down there. It really is a community center.
yeah,
right now.
the senior center morphed
Two
into.
buildings and a lot of services into one small building that was, a donated building.
Yeah.
As, was it Peg that said it? the town didn't pay anything for that building.
Nothing for the.
All donations.
Yeah.
So we have never built a senior center or community center in this town.
Nor have you bought a van. The van was through a grant and the Friends of Mendon Elvis.
But we haven't invested in any infrastructure for the seniors of this community.
I think it's time to invest in senior and community.
Along with, they do a lot down.
Along with the
It's like
recreation.
It's Tony Nay, it's health clinics,
It's Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts, it's the Lions Club, it's the brothers. It's people who want to use the facility for an event.
it's a central meeting point for community to get together in this town.
And it's a place that we can hang our hat on for the next 30 years. And if we have
Minimum.
minimum 30 years. I don't want to go too far out, so we're going to say it's too big. And it's not really. I mean, we cut that thing back.
And I think the presentation should be cut short and to the point. Don't drag it out.
I agree.
It should show a lot of stuff that are gonna raise questions and get off the subject.
I think Mike needs to go through his process, though. I think that we need to show
Well,
something.
you gotta have some process, yes.
Yeah, because the due diligence piece is,
Go for 45 minutes on a presentation,
no. I'm hoping 20 the max.
less than that.
I'd like to do less than that, but I don't think we
Yeah,
can.
they probably get 20 minutes. It's a big project. It's a lot of money. People want to hear about it.
I know. The next one, Lonnie, I think is a wrap.
Lonnie, you going again?
Are we driving? Can't figure out who's driving anymore. Oh. The other way.
Questions?
Answered all mine. Thank you.
And to thank you all for your time and consideration.
Yeah. That's it.
Room to learn, room to play, and a room, whoever brought that up on our postcard, I think that was a great statement. And there's our lot. We don't take much of that.
I think we're right here.
I think we're right here.
We're right there and there, which gives you.
I think that's an important slide to show.
There's a
Right,
second
show
field. right
Where the
there,
place
right?
is gonna, where the senior center is gonna be. You get
Yes.
additional land.
Yeah, so I think
That's
it's taken up,
But
it
I-
is taking
I
up
would-
field. but the
I would
second-
put a circle with an X on it. Just,
Where it is.
A
You got
small-
all this
small-
additional land.
it's gonna be right here, the heart of
It's gonna
it,
be like
right
right
there,
out there.
right like that.
That's more important than your graph.
So they're gonna see it, see an X right there, and they're gonna go, oh, look at all that land.
Future expansion.
And it's what it was voted in for.
That's right.
We can't use it for anything else.
I was here, right.
It was bought for municipal space,
Whoever
municipal
has that,
buildings,
whoever
John
has
and I
that were part of that vote
That's right.
25 years ago.
municipal. I was here for it.
You would, whoever has
That's
that,
it.
for that plot
right,
plan,
Yeah. Time flies, huh, when you have fun.
PDF, can somebody
You're all
PDF
grown up now.
this and send? Yeah, screenshot, yeah. Yeah, can we screenshot that?
I mean, you won't.
Yeah, we just want that GIS, you can actually get the rest of it too and put it in.
Yeah, I don't really need a lot, but I like the idea, just put an X.
Small circle with an
Small
X.
circle, there it is, 2.5 acres.
Like a little.
Small, tiny.
Oh, Lonnie's doing it right now, he's back.
There we go. Snip it.
He just finished his ice cream.
A small circle, Lonnie, and an X, not a big one. We're watching it. Have a good CPA meeting.
You know, like,
Where is it?
Yeah, I gotta go to that too.
I think we have a dry run tomorrow. Whoever wants to go, I think I'm gonna go. David can make it. That's it for the moderator.
Right, the moderator walkthrough.
Yeah.
I don't
moderator.
think they'll let us do a presentation.
I don't think so. No.
okay, guys.
Hey, we'll see you all there. We're allowed to be outside promoting this thing, but not inside promoting. Okay, thank you.
Good night.
Right.
So then I'll take it. We don't have to vote anything, right? Okay, so,
No. We don't, yeah, we don't do it.
just make sure you get it home.
If we do anything.
Look at that artist.
It's gonna be colorful. Okay. Lonnie, I'm colorblind, so make it simple.
Okay.
Thanks.
Right now, we're kind of in this general area right here.
I'd say, yeah, you're not down beyond the other wall.
No. And you got the road coming in here, and then, I mean, it just, the reason it looks a little bit crazier here.
You drew a line, so it looks like that's all the land that you have,
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Right, so this is,
not all the land we have.
this is the whole field,
exactly.
as we kind of say, as the open area right now, but you're right, we have all this expansion down here.
Yes.
I think that's important to show that on the slide.
Yeah, I wonder if Mike could even do it, show the whole lot. Because he has access to do that, show the whole lot.
Sure. Yeah, it's a couple of days. We can do that. Plenty of time.
Are we saying that that graphic is actually makes it look like we're actually into the,
It makes it look like we're taking up the whole lot.
Yeah, we want to
Now it
show.
looks like you're using the whole field all the way down to the brook.
Yeah, it's not,
No,
it's just using a lot of the open space that's there now, but there's a lot more. I was thinking that the tree line was more, and it's not even really, because here's the tree line right
those
here,
trees aren't even there really.
right, this tree line, it kind of goes at an angle.
Yeah, okay, I can make them try to do the whole lot.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, just make sure, even if, you know something, even if he just makes this transparent and then brings the view out a little bit further, you know? It's just, this is just not giving us, because it's all green right here. If he just
Yeah.
made it more transparent and overlaid it with this being, you know, see-through.
Be part of the topography.
This is 2.5 acres of 20 acres of usable land that we have.
And maybe we can ask them how to scale it is, because you look at the school parking lot there, and the way the cars are parked,
Right,
almost,
yeah, I think it might.
it almost looks like it's a little bit bigger than the
Like,
actual
yeah.
scale of the
Proportion.
school.
Okay. I can send him off a note tonight and see if we get that scaled correctly. That'll make.
Yeah,
more
that's
sense.
true too. That might be zoomed in quite a bit on, and laying on there and making it look.
It looks bigger than the school.
Dwarfing the school, yeah.
Yeah, and the school's pretty,
Pretty good size.
It's like,
Big size.
the school is that long.
Yeah.
It has
it
a
is.
long shape.
I mean,
so-
compare it to where the picture for the senior center. It's not in proportion.
I'll give Mike a call. We'll get it done by the meeting.
And then, I mean, it might be nice if they're going back to it, if that little parking lot at the bottom of the picture, that's not gonna be, it would be helpful to not have it there.
That's
not
right.
actually parked.
yeah.
Because somebody's gonna want it.
I said that a few times just to get that on.
I got it, it's okay.
Because we don't want it passes and then they say, where's our parking lot?
On the topic of parking, I know people have asked about parking at the top of the field across from Buck, and I think we said it will not be impacted, right? People should still be
Yeah.
able to park in the
Yeah,
field
why couldn't
there.
they?
Just as long as they're not blocking the road, right?
I mean, well, if you look where they park, it's to the left of that little,
Right, so that's
That
still.
spot's
would be-
all
right,
there.
So, and I think that's, I've had that people mention.
now they don't have to bottom out when they come in, because right now, the way it is, cars bottom out.
There's like that stone, like little pillar somewhere.
Yeah, there's a mess in there, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
Maybe the town someday will want to do municipal parking in there. Or close.
yeah, but there's room there. I mean, if the school eventually wants to do
Yeah.
some type of parking, they can. They can
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
go full parking.
Are we having fun now, Amy? Oh my, landscape size, scale it. We're gonna have backup slides for that drop off. And I'll talk to Jody and make sure I think she knows, but just make it,
Yeah. So,
and then you and I think I think we'll go up, you, I, and Petra will go up to the mic. We'll lead into it, we can go back and forth, we kind of just give me, poke me and I'll poke you, and then let Mike.
And then we'll be ready for the questions too. The board will have to be ready and.
Yeah, anybody,
Yep. Question, checking. It's hard to tell. I mean, there's a lot on Facebook, but who knows if they'll show up and actually
It's gonna show. I really don't.
know it, you know?
You never know.
Exactly.
I got one poke at the Southwick Zoo. Two, I knew one guy from way back. He's just a grouchy guy, so I just poked at him. And the other guy I didn't know him. He was new to town and he was kind of, what about this? What about that? And I said, this is where it is. you don't like it, you don't have to vote for it.
Did you post the site at all, our site that, for all the information, like when they have all these questions, did we arrow them to our site? Because I mean, they're asking all these questions and coming up with all this stuff, but do we point them to the actual information on Facebook? I don't know if I saw any of this.
I did.
Okay.
The frequently asked questions.
Right.
Gotcha, okay.
I don't know if you've linked to the site that the card.
Yeah, I wonder if we link it to the site, too.
Yeah.
Because maybe that will,
Exactly.
get them informed.
Updating that, and I know Dan put a lot of stuff on the town website.
Yeah, he
But,
did.
The town website actually is getting better. There's more
Yeah.
stuff in there.
yeah, I put the video from the information session on the front page of the independent website.
Yep.
So, because I think that was a really useful presentation. I think there were people who came to that thinking they were gonna argue against it and then left thinking that it was a good idea. That was my impression.
That was the last one we did?
The last one,
Yeah.
I thought that was
Could
very
be.
positive, and I think, so, yeah. And that's nice, we're gonna get an edited down version of that, so like shorter attention spans.
On that, one slide we looked at that showed the graph, for the debt.
Yep.
You know, at the top of it, it had something about scenario number 2.
Well, we'll get rid of that. 'Cause
I'm thinking you want to
Yeah,
It was that.
Yeah, we don't
people
want,
might ask, what was scenario number
That's
1?
two.
yeah,
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
it's the debt for, view of the debt, possible view of the debt. I don't know. This gets us in potential trouble.
Yeah,
Well, if you're going to present this, this will be the assumption that this is the scenario. And then if you start to see number 2, people are like, well, what's number 1?
Yeah, if we just delete that, then it
So I
shows
think it
that
could be
Right.
confusing.
get rid of that.
our current debt line, which isn't a real debt line, it's something we establish.
Yeah,
It's a finance team in the town that says, hey, this is where we're gonna be, and the board determines if that's where we should be with debt. And I mean, if they say, well, we don't need to have debt, well, every town has debt. Our level is actually, I've looked at on the DLS site, our debt's a lot lower than most towns around us for the infrastructure. And the debt, it's so hard to explain, because you should have maintained debt, and then you have operational costs, which are 2 separate things, and they both can affect your taxes, but in different ways. Because debt overrides aren't permanent overrides. A 2.5, proposition 2.5, operational override is a permanent override, and those people get confused about.
It's gonna be 20
Because
years.
they're trying to confuse us, saying, well, instead of this, can we get highway workers and firefighters? No, we can't. This is a debt exclusion. If you don't approve this, you'd have to go for an operational override for your 2.5, that would say permanently. So it's not, you don't get this, you get the other one. It doesn't work that way. It's not apples and oranges, unfortunately, but it's hard to understand unless you're in the space. Municipal government, so.
Yeah, the biggest traffic, and Mike's not here, but I know we're looking at trying to set up some funding for highway. So that there's a more level focus of a highway fund. So it's not empty and then we gotta go scurry, get money, then it's empty
I
again.
think what he's trying to do is operational, because that's a reoccurring cost that's never gonna go away. So if it's something that's gonna be permanent, you should look to build in your operation. Where if building a building isn't a permanent cost, eventually it goes away.
I think we're trying to do some transfers of free cash or some kind of cash. Is it part of this
So
to get the highway fund? I don't
I
remember.
can't remember, it's on the warrant, I mean, that one about, it's.
It's start to establish that kitty, so you have $500,000 in there. So you could go fill the potholes better.
Well, let's concentrate on this, never mind the highway.
Right. Somebody's gonna say, we don't want this, we want the highway department.
You can't have both, because that's a
Yeah.
different budget.
Different budget, different process. Okay. I think to click, this is not a bad little site. Click here, town meeting. Oh. The first slide's not bad.
That one, doing some magic there.
Who knows? Groundwater Protection District.
What is all this?
I have no idea.
What? Groundwater protection?
Yeah, the groundwater protection, I guess, Jack Hunter talked about that. I guess
We
it
put
is
that on the
something-
planning board, we put that
Yeah,
on there.
okay.
There
yeah.
are
For the groundwater, for the whole aquifer area, so you don't end up with chemical buildings or gas stations out conforming oil and all that stuff. To protect the water,
Is there not?
not that we're gonna use it, 30 years from now, maybe they'll want town water.
Right.
Not in our lifetime, probably, but my lifetime anyways. But you've got to protect the water you have if it's good. That's all that is.
It's a disc golf on the paddock. The rest of the,
And every other town has it.
there's a bunch of CPA in there.
Yeah.
What we're looking for, Lonnie? The article?
What?
What are you looking for, the article?
Training.
Now you think he's just looking to see big ticket items.
But it's not, yeah, it's not on the meeting, so.
Oh, no, I'll try. I saw you guys, I thought somebody asked about the CPA articles to support some of this.
CPA, no,
Yeah.
yeah, it's there.
They're all below it.
It's ordered the right way.
Yeah, it's not in the recording, but. Okay.
Okay. Now, is there anything else? I think if we take a look forward, moving forward, we have the moderator walk through tomorrow. I think we just say we need 20 minutes. Let's see what he says. The slides have to get to Dan, who's going to be hosting as usual, the IT section. So I'll get that to him hopefully tomorrow. If not Thursday morning, to give him enough time.
Yeah, we get the updates from Mike.
Update from Mike and update from Jody, those two. And we can do some backup slides. As far as the activity at the town meeting, at Misco, I talked to Ellen, we can stand outside as anybody else would, like a candidate. And we can hand out material, if we like. We can hold our sign. We can't bring in, we can wear anything we want at the town meeting, I guess. We can actually wear, the elders can wear their shirts if they like. When you go to vote, I understand you can't do that. And when you go to vote, we got to be on the grass side of the Misco Hill, or Misco Hill where we vote. So.
But I think most people already got their mind made up before they get there.
I think people going.
Yeah.
The ones I'm not sure is, I think once we get through this, I'm an eternal optimist. I'm hoping we make it through the town meeting. I don't think it's gonna be easy, but I hope we'd make it. My concern is the ballot vote.
That's right.
I mean, I think people have made the argument before that these things should be determined only by people at town meetings, so that encouraging people to push it forward, to have it go to the town vote, like to have it go, like, so like not kill it on the meeting floor where we only have, 100 people, but put it out to the whole town. So
That's good.
I hope that at least people who are on the fence will still be willing to support it passing at town
Yeah.
meeting, so that we can put it to the whole town.
Most times it passes the town meeting. I've seen it
Yeah.
not
How many people are gonna have there?
rarely.
150, 200 tops, I'll
Yeah,
bet.
it's rare that things don't pass. Every time the police station, when it passed at the town meeting, it always get on the ballot.
Is the town meeting vote for this, is this required 2/3?
Yeah.
Two-thirds,
And then if that would happen at the ballot, it's just majority?
majority.
Yeah, I know. My call to action this week is just contact people, see if there's any questions. How to educate them and try to get them out to vote at both events.
It all depends who shows up.
You're right. I think it's a great project for the town. Hopefully it passes.
Oh, I agree.
I think that it hits the whole community. But we'll,
So I wanted to bring up something before we end. I don't know,
Sure.
are we doing other things on the agenda?
No, this is-
You have the outreach on the agenda.
yes, the outreach and
So this is
communications.
related to that, which is, as I think you and Dave know, where the town is also trying to get some federal funding to support this, which we can't get that unless we have a project. So, but we also need to send some supporting documents to show that we have support from people in the town. And apparently it's one of these things where like, they need it right now. They actually need this so they needed a bunch of answers today, which we were able to get in. And then they need some supporting documents, which I'm assembling. But it includes things like letters of support from elected officials. So I know actually some of you are elected officials, so on the Board of Health and on the Planning Board. So I guess what I'm doing is inviting you, if you would be willing and able to write a letter of support. And if you know others who might be able to do that, I'm reaching out to our Board of Assessors. So like anyone that we know who can have, you know, a letter of support, especially elected officials or groups. I know, I wish that we'd had this
Just
request
support the
earlier.
senior.
Support the
the
project,
project.
right? So like it's mentioned in the master plan, so we're gonna include that in our documentation. But yeah, Amy.
So what I was gonna say, you know, a lot of this started years ago with Kevin Rudden, and he's our ADA coordinator, and I know he's willing to speak, whether or not, you know, he does speak at the ATM is a different matter, but he is a fabulous writer.
I'm working on him, so yeah, yeah.
Do you mind if I send him an email too?
No, I would love that. So
Okay.
like I've texted him a couple times, haven't gotten as far as I can ask. I'm like, has anyone asked you to write a letter of support?
He would do
But it
a
would be-
fabulous job,
He would love to.
Fantastic if he could do that. I think we would really love to have.
especially where he was on the ground floor of the
Yeah,
expansion years
he's
ago.
So knowledgeable, and I think,
Mhm.
so yeah, it would be great to have a letter from him, but yeah, we need it Thursday at noon. That's
Okay.
that's the tricky part.
Does that have to go electronic and just do it?
Well, it can be, I mean, well, so we have to put together a PDF, so like any format that people can get it to me, I will compile it.
PDF formats, which are
What's that?
PDF format.
Yes, but I mean, but people can get me other formats and I can make a PDF, so whatever
Okay.
format, and,
Should that be on official letterhead? I don't know.
if you can, I think anything, you know, I think this is, the idea is that we can just compile as much proof of our community support as we can get. And so this includes, like, we're gonna be listing any boards and committees that have voted to support this. And unfortunately, we didn't know about this to ask, because then we could have sort of like, not all of the boards and committees have actually put it on their agenda to support it. So like, I will probably be like asking each committee if they have actually voted on it. I know the land use committee, we voted to support the use of this land for this project, which is, you know, a kind of support, but we agreed that this is an appropriate use of the land for the project as the land use committee.
The select board and the finance
The
committee.
finance committee voted to support it, the select board did, and I don't know about, like, you know, other ones. I don't know. the planning
Where-
board
No, we
voted
haven't,
on
we
it.
never even talked about it.
Yeah, so.
Where did Peg go? She went to was it recreation? Were you with her, Karen?
Huh?
You went to recreation with Peg one time?
I went to the library.
Library, okay.
Yeah.
She went to another meeting and I can't remember which one, but they voted to support the project.
I believe Parks Commission was one of the
Parks.
ones.
Parks, that's correct, Rose Parks.
So yeah, so I'll be in touch, but anyhow, I'm putting it out there to all of you. I'm compiling these documents, and if anyone has any other ideas, I mean, I know, yeah, so we have the articles that were in the newspaper, which, oh, now I'm blanking, Free Press, Mendon Free Press. Yeah, so there were articles there, so we can include those. Maybe we can include articles that were in the senior center newsletter as well. So like, anyhow, so I will be in touch. We have a limit of, I think, just 10 megs, but like, that's, you know, that can be a lot of pages. So
It has to be done by Thursday.
it has to be done by Thursday at noon. So, yeah.
It's a short note.
So short, no, I think it's really this, right? No one person needs to write a lot of things, but if we can have a lot of letters showing support, and I'm happy to provide, like, you know, suggestions if anybody is in a hurry to write it. So anyhow, so.
I'm thinking, you know, Peg and Earl Perlman, who are our co-chairs for the council. You know, Earl, I'm sure, he's a fabulous writer, even if I had him dictate something that I put on Council on Aging letterhead.
Right, yeah. So I know they specifically asked for elected officials, but.
Okay.
we
Oh,
can
okay.
include- But we can include boards too,
Okay.
because we know the Council on Aging supports this. They spearheaded this
Mhm.
effort, so I think a letter from them would be.
Okay.
awesome. So, yeah, and then, yeah, so I'll be in touch, extracting more from people. So, yeah, any other ideas that people have, but yeah, unfortunately, we didn't know about this request until, well, Friday, and it sort of, it kind of almost fell through the cracks, but we are not letting it fall through the cracks.
And this is federal.
This is for federal funding, for a congressional earmark, through Congressman Elkins's
Jake,
office.
okay.
And so this will be like, this is one of these things where like, we're asking for like a lot of money and, but we hope that, you know, we hope that we will get something and it will help offset some of the costs if we do get it, but we won't know about it for many months. And if we do get it, it will potentially like, yeah, I'm not sure. We'll have to figure out what it means. If we get the money, like it will come to the town for this project and whether like some of the other money that's, you know, voted to be used on this project, whether it can be used for other projects.
Can't, you'd have to just not borrow as much.
Right, so, but that would be good if we
That
didn't
would be
need to
great.
borrow as much.
Yeah.
that would be
Great, because then it goes back to that chart and
Right,
debt lowers.
Whatever you get, good.
Yeah,
right.
you reduce the debt.
So there's
Which gives you more
that,
money.
right, so I spoke to this assistant at the congressman's office, and she said that, you know, once we do this, that we can say that, you know, that our congressman is gonna advocate for funding of this project and that he supports this project, that he chose this as, like, I guess there were like 35 submissions and he chose this as one of his 15 that he was going to push forward. So, so I think that, you know, she suggested that was something that we could use as a talking point at town meeting, that we're like, is this is, you know, we've talked about exploring other avenues for funding. And so this is one that's active. This was something that, I guess, our previous interim TA along with Mike Borelli submitted. And so I'm just following through because it's came up in a hurry. So,
Everybody, I think I'll put a funding bulletin because there's a couple other efforts here. Mark is looking at emergency funding, management funding, which will help offset some costs. We're looking at ADA funding. We're going to explore solar and other activities for funding.
communities, right?
Yeah, for green community.
And the articles are to expend and borrow up to 13.2.
Right,
It doesn't mean we
okay.
have to
Right.
spend all
So, right, if
13.2.
it turns out we don't need to.
And if the question comes,
good.
well, what are you gonna do with the money if you don't? You just don't
Don't use it.
borrow it.
Oh, that-
And that 149 becomes less of an impact. It becomes less of an amount over
That
there.
is more money for the town to use.
If you got $5 million on a grant, then you just don't, you borrow 5 million less.
I think that's a key point to somehow highlight that the 13.2 isn't necessarily the spendable amount. It could actually
It's up
work out to be less.
If the bids came in lower, we bid out and we have 4 or 5 bids at the police station, they're lower, then it's lower.
And there are those contingencies built in, right? So-
Significant
And I
contingency.
know, because I've had people say that they're worried this isn't gonna be done, you know, under budget, and so it's got
It's
a lot of that built
a healthy
into it, and this
contingency.
is part of why the number is so big versus some of the projects that have been done before.
I think by the experience of the people who we're working with, they forced us to that 12%
We didn't have contingencies like the police station.
contingency.
You
So
you
it's
had
a-
a smaller, you said you had a smaller.
And we ran into the point of,
You had COVID too.
no, we was there building, but when we got it approved, we weren't as far conceptually as you were. Like, he's gonna start designing it. We went through another 8 months of redesigning it, and as we were doing it, back then, inflation wasn't high, but building costs were going high before COVID. So every month we waited and had meetings, the price went up and we had to cut more off of it. We actually had cut the building smaller than what was approved. So, but this, you're ready to roll, and the contingency I've built into the next 6 months to get design done.
Yeah.
We didn't do that.
But the funding piece, I'm going to add a bullet in there somewhere, to try to logically put it in the presentation, because there are a number of efforts moving forward. And if we need to expand upon them, feel free to grab a mic or stand, because you're really driving this. You're spearheading. You picked up a good run.
Yeah, yes. Somebody else started it, but I'm not letting it fall through the cracks.
Thank you. Are there any other items that we want to talk in open forum? I mean, the rest we're just kind of socializing, but anything else? I think the importance is just for other people. Yes, Andy.
I just, this isn't, I just want to say, and I wish more people were here. I'd like to say thank you to everybody for, this has been incredible seeing this whole project and process in motion. I do want to let you know I am going to be out of state. I'm leaving Thursday, going to Maine, to Bangor. My daughter's graduating on Saturday and has award ceremony Friday night. So I'm hoping that my phone is going to be blowing up, Friday as I'm sitting there watching her get her awards, but
Well, congratulations for you, Amy. I mean, it's an important time.
second one and, last, but, thank you all for everything that you've done. It's incredible and,
I'm hoping
for
the
the
work's
best.
just begun.
yes, yes.
I'm hoping, but we'll see. Okay. If anyone, what, motion to adjourn, any,
Make motion to adjourn?
all in favor?
Aye.
I,
Thanks, Ron. It's only such a recording.
Phil, you gonna close up, that screen there, or Dave, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'll take care of all.
Dave
Thanks,
got it.
guys.
Night.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks. Mark.
We're cruising.
See you writing.
Just reach out to all your